Alright guys, welcome to my tutorial on one-point perspective. One-point perspective is extremely simple, really easy to do, and so it shouldn't take a whole lot. All I have is a piece of paper, a ruler, pencil with an eraser. That's all you need. And we're going to be focusing on one-point perspective in this tutorial. So one-point perspective applies if you are like say you're standing in the middle of a room, you're standing in the middle of a road, or you're driving down a road or something like that, and you see lines converging or going away from you, like if you're walking down a really long hallway or anything like that, where you have parallel lines like walls or the sides of the road or buildings or anything like that that are going away from you, and they're parallel to each other, so they're going away from you like that. As soon as you step away, as you go and turn in any case, in any way, then that changes perspective, and we run into two-point perspective. But one-point perspective is applicable if you're staying in the middle of a room or road or hallway or something like that, where things are moving away from you and they're getting smaller. So I always give the example to my students in the classroom to look up at the ceiling and notice how the lights in the ceiling, or the tiles on the floor even, as they go away from you, they start to converge, or they converge. They continually get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they go closer and closer together. Just like when you look down the road, you're driving through Nebraska, Wyoming, Iowa, where it's really flat, and all you have is road in front of you, and the road just converges and goes and goes and goes until finally it gets so small that you can't see it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do this from our imagination, or at least I'm going to do it from my imagination. You can add what you want on yours, but this is what the tutorial is for. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to put a dot right in the middle of our paper. You notice that the paper right here I have is 12 inches long, so I'm going to just stick it right there on that 6-inch mark. This right here is what is called our vanishing point. So I'll go ahead and write it in there so you guys know what it is. Vanishing point. Okay, sorry, it's a little shaky. And on that vanishing point, we're going to have what is our horizon line. Our horizon line is essentially the line from our eye level. So because I'm going to put the horizon line at the middle of the page, this would make us look like we're kind of hovering in the air. So we're kind of looking down on the road. We can see maybe the tops of some buildings or some other buildings, but it's right in the middle of the road. If the vanishing point moves further down on the paper, then it's going to look like we're closer to the ground. And if it moves up further like this, it's going to look like we are really high up in this, in the sky, or looking down on something. And so anyway, this is our horizon line. So I'll write that in there. Horizon line and vanishing point. Okay? Start out with the vanishing point. Every line that we draw that's going away from us, so something not flat, something that's like a wall that's in front of us, that's sitting front ways or against us, but things that are going away from us, so hallways, road, whatever it is, they're all going to converge to this point. They're all going to go there. So really, when it comes down to it, when you're drawing a one-point perspective drawing, you're really just drawing lines away from this point. As you rotate around like this, you're just drawing lines continually to that vanishing point, which makes it really easy. So, because all you need is a ruler. So first off, I'm going to draw the road to start out with, and to make life really easy, I'm just going to draw the road from this corner, or from this point to the corners, right here, and then down like this, just like that. So I have one line going down here, one line going down there. That just makes it easy. We're going with a regular piece of paper, or drawing paper, so I'm going to go to both corners like that. Then the next step is to draw some buildings. and we're going to draw buildings using a box, and start out with the box, and then we can move from there. So I'm going to draw a box. Now I'm going to start at the edge of the road, okay, and then we can draw some sidewalks if we want to, or bring lines down like that if we want to add to that, but we're just going to go really simple to start out with. So I'm going to draw a box. Now I can draw the box and have it extend beyond the horizon line, or I can have it come down below the horizon line. What that will tell me is that if I draw below the horizon line, then that building is pretty small. We're way up in the sky and we can see the top of that building. If I were to go above the horizon line, so come up beyond this and go all the way up, that would make it so this building was a little bit taller, or we weren't as high. We weren't, up in the sky so high looking down. So I'm going to do a few different ones to show differences. So maybe, it may not necessarily be a building, but it could be like a mailbox or something like that, whatever it is. But to start out with, I just want to do a big box. So I'm going to start out with a box. I'm just going to go right from the road, or from the edge of the road, I should say, like this. And then I'm going to put in a straight line here and a straight line there. Okay, so I have now a box. This side right here is facing me, and this side right here, I now have to draw the side that's facing the road, so it's facing this way. And all I need to do is anything that's going away from me, right, that's going towards the vanishing point, is going to converge towards the vanishing point. So here we go. I'm going to come down like this, and I'm just going to go really lightly, super light. And now I know at what angle to draw this at, because I've drawn it towards the vanishing point. And I can cut it off wherever I want, however long my building is. I'm going to just cut it off like this. So, like that. And now we have a building. We have a box, or a building, sitting on or at the road. Now that's a really wide road for the size of the building, so we'll probably bring it down a little bit, or make larger buildings, or whatever we want to do. But in any case, we're understanding this in terms of just the principle. We have a box. The box is going towards the vanishing point. It's lying on this line, and we have converging lines, right? Let's do another one, just for kicks and giggles. I'm going to draw another one over on this side. I'll just go like this. So I'm drawing my box, and then I'm going to have it converge towards the vanishing point. So we're going to cut it off right there. And I've just drawn it all the way to the vanishing point to help emphasize the fact that we need to draw a line all the way to the vanishing point. There's a tendency that when you draw lines to the vanishing point, it gets really easy to want to draw lines towards certain areas or off. But in any case, we need to draw it towards the vanishing point. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to create some sidewalks and some other areas. And we're going to need to draw a building that's lower than the horizon line. So let's draw one right here. Okay, notice it's below the horizon line. So if I come across like this, and I draw over here, and I draw right here, in order for me to show this side and also the top, the roof of this building, I need to again go towards the vanishing point. So I've already got this line going to the vanishing point, so I'm just going to continue a line going up like this, and then instead of it going down towards the vanishing point, this is actually going to go up towards the vanishing point at a slight angle. So I'm going to just make sure that it's going at the right angle, like going up like this, and then it's going to stop right there. The same thing this way. I'm going to come over here, right there, and I need to go to the vanishing point. So I'm going to go up like this, and it's really subtle, but it still has to go to the vanishing point. So coming up like this, like that, it's going to go up to the vanishing point. So there we have that line correct, and then I'm just going to cut it off, just like I did this way where I cut it off here. I'm going to do the same thing right here and cut it off. So I just need to make sure that it's flat. And now we have the top of the building, the side of the building, and the side that's facing us. So right here. Now this is the same if I was drawing just a bunch of boxes in space and they were all going away from me, right? If I just draw a bunch of squares and then put a dot in the middle, I could make them all boxes. And I could see the bottom of some of the boxes and the tops of some of the boxes depending on if they're above or below the vanishing point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just continue to draw a bunch of buildings and then we'll do the curves. So I'm just going to go really quickly and draw a bunch of buildings going away from us on this. Right here, right there, there. Notice how I have them above the horizon line, there, right there. And because I have lines that are, or boxes that are behind, right, I'm not going to see all of it, so it cuts off a little bit. But you still draw a box, you just won't see some of it because it's behind this right here, so spatially they don't show up. Okay, I'll draw my sidewalk. So I need to draw a sidewalk here, and again, sidewalk there. So now I actually have a little bit of a road. I can make some, lanes in the road if I wanted to. And one's going to come like this, it's going to come like this, however I want to do it. Right, so you have multiple lanes in this road, you have sidewalks, however you decide, whatever you decide to do. So some things to remember when we draw our one-point perspective drawing. The boxes that we create for the buildings, if it's below the horizon line, we're going to see the top of it. If it's above the horizon line, then we're going to not see the top of the building. But if I were to draw, something like an overhang or an awning or anything like that that was on a building and we were below it, we'd see the bottom of it, we'd see underneath it. The next thing that I want to do is just show you guys how to make things look like they're going back in space. As I go back in space, let's say I want to do some lines on these sidewalks, I'm going to move my ruler back and then each time just get a little bit closer and closer and closer and closer and closer together so that they look like they're going away. So I'm just going to inch a little bit, inch a little bit, inch a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And each time I'm just getting smaller and smaller and smaller until finally those lines are going to get so close to one another that they'll basically kind of disappear. And they get lighter and lighter and lighter as they go back. That's called atmospheric perspective. As things go away, they get grayer. They lose contrast and they lose color. So that's why when you see mountains that recede in the background, they're going to get grayer and grayer and grayer. So again, things we need to consider: the vanishing point, the horizon line, and each of these buildings, the boxes that we create, the objects that we create, are all going to go towards the vanishing point on the sides of the building that are going away from us. We can create a curb if we want to. We can put another line here and another line there and then just connect them by just little lines going straight up and down like this. We could create a crosswalk right here and just have an area like this and an area like this, a box like this. So all of that can be done, but the most important things that we need to understand are the horizon line and the vanishing point and how our lines at the bottom and the top of the building need to converge towards that vanishing point. If it's above the horizon line, we're not going to see the top of it. If it's below the horizon line, we will see the top of it. And that's it. And I'll do more in-depth drawing on the other one or the next tutorial, but this is a very basic principle that we need to understand before we move on.